Welcome back. It is the Midday Show. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio. Joining us right now, as she does every Tuesday, is our Phillies and Eagles reporter and part of the morning show, Devan Kaney. Devan, how you doing?
Dev.
I'm doing well, guys. I kind of wish I was like walking out to a wrestling match after that intro by Hugh.
I can see that.
To disappoint.
I can see that.
Well, yes,
it is the perfect hype music, though. Like, it makes you excited, but I guess it was a letdown because it's just me. It's not a pro wrestler or anyone like that.
It's not a pro wrestler, no, but you're our guest, so we'll hype you up anyway. Devan, excited to have you on and a lot to talk about. All right, let's just start. Well, it does feel like we're throwing elbows here because it is decision week on WIP, and it starts today with the Jalen Hurts contract extension debate. Devan, where do you come down on this? Eagles this offseason have a decision to make. I mean, they could just let the contract be what it is, which is Jalen has some years left, but only one more year of guaranteed money. Or they could extend him, maybe try to lower that cap number, but then lock themselves into more years of Jalen Hurts beyond, just the next couple. Where do you come down on the idea of a Jalen Hurts extension this offseason?
So I understand that, he has a good agent and they're probably going to push for this as they should because he's certainly earned it with his success just in the, short time that he's been the starting quarterback for the Eagles. That being said, I think back to something Howie Roseman said at the very end of his and Nick's, postseason, postmortem press conference, where he basically said after talking about, he was asked about A.J. Brown, he was asked about the draft, what they're looking for, the coordinator, of course, and he kind of like went back on something he said, or I guess hedged it a bit and said you have to look at the pendulum here. So the defense got really young and cheaper because they focused on defense, in the draft. And now they're going to have to pay a few of those defensive players who are coming up on their contracts. And now the offense, they're going to look to get younger and cheaper. So I think extending Jalen Hurts doesn't necessarily fit that, plan to get younger and cheaper on offense. I'm not saying that they're going to trade him or not pay him, but I could see a world in which I know you guys were talking about, they're reworking his contract. So maybe they give him an extension, but it doesn't kick in like a Lane Johnson type contract reworking for Jalen. I would just expect to see most of the money invested in the defense this offseason versus the offense. So just something to keep in mind as we debate Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and all these offensive players.
I would too. I'm with you. I think that's where this is going. It's just kind of the natural arc of the team with all those young defense players that they drafted, and they've hit on a ton of them. All right, so Devan, you mentioned A.J. Brown within your answer there. Where are you on the A.J. thing? Because, I think when the season ended, especially the way the playoff game ended, it was like, boy, this marriage is over. And then, now we've had a few weeks to cool down. A.J. went out to, Super Bowl week. It was on the Micah Parsons podcast, and he was with
Broke bread.
Yeah, hanging out with Derrick Henry. And it seemed like he was a little bit more reserved and he calmed down and it seemed like he was in a good place. Do you buy it? Do you think this is just kind of posturing? Let's play nice in the media. Where are you on the AJ thing as we head towards the offseason?
I honestly don't know. I could see a world where A.J. Brown is still on the Eagles next season. I could see a world because it is still a cap hit, even if it's after the June 1st date. It's still a cap hit if the Eagles ended up trading A.J. Brown or he wasn't on the team. So I could see a scenario where he comes back and maybe they try it out with this new OC and maybe, A.J. thrives under Sean Mannion. I loved hearing what he had to say, out in California over Super Bowl week. I thought it was all the right things to say, but I don't think that that's necessarily why he said them because we know A.J. Brown. We know that he's not going to hold back. I think what happened in that final playoff game, the situation with him and Nick Sirianni, I think it was a tense, heated moment. Did I want to see a little bit more effort from AJ in that game? Yes. And that's probably the biggest red flag to me, but maybe he thrives under a new OC and he comes back and it works, guys. So I could see it going both ways, but I would personally be happy if A.J. Brown was still a Philadelphia Eagle come training camp this summer.
So, Dev, I'm making you the GM of the Philadelphia Eagles right now. Boom. And I'm Jalen's agent. I want some more money. What are you doing?
Ooh, see, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be a very good GM because I'm too I think with my heart over my head too often. So I would be like, yeah, I mean, you've done so much, sure, but can we maybe like pull a Dodgers and defer it and rework your contract where, maybe we extend the years a bit, but it's so I can pay these guys like Jalen Carter, like Jordan Davis, like maybe Nakobe Dean and Reed Blankenship on defense. Because in
It's
order
just
for
slow
you to
playing.
succeed, we're going to need the defense to succeed
See,
too here, Jalen.
that sounds like a good
So
GM,
that's
Devin.
personally what I
That
would
sounds
do.
like a really good
Congrats
GM.
on being the new Eagles GM, by the way.
Yeah, Howie out, Devan Kaney in as the Eagles GM. All right, Devin, before we get your take on something Dave Dombrowski said yesterday as spring training with pitchers and catchers about to begin in the full squad next week, I need to get your thought on Hugh Douglas's theory that he has, or like his belief system. So I'm not sure if you heard us yesterday, but unsurprisingly, Hugh now has Sam Darnold as the best quarterback in
The
pro football.
absolute best.
So Hugh has a thing where the two quarterbacks that play in the Super Bowl are automatically 1-2 in his rankings. So now Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the NFL. Where do you stand on that? Because for the rest of us, it's kind of head scratching.
Well, so Hugh, was Jalen Hurts one of your top two last season?
Yes,
I don't remember
he was number one.
What?
He was number
Okay.
one, and the year
Purdy
before
the year
that,
before,
yeah,
yeah,
Purdy
he's
the year
consistent.
before was number two. Because obviously, Patrick Mahomes was number one.
Yeah, consistently crazy is what we can say here. Yeah.
I mean, like Sam Darnold, I think I'm happy for him that he like kind of proved his doubters and previous teams wrong. Am I willing to say that he's the best quarterback or one of the best quarterbacks in the league? No, I think we have to be consistent. Like if we're going to hold Jalen Hurts to that standard, and by we, I mean just like NFL fans everywhere and media, because it's not just here in Philly. I've heard, all offseason, even before the Super Bowl last year, Jalen Hurts is just a system quarterback. He's being carried by his team. So if we're going to keep that energy for Jalen Hurts, we need to keep that energy for Sam Darnold. Because I actually believe it's much more accurate when it comes to Sam Darnold. He was surrounded by a ton of talent. You look at what Jackson Smith and Jigba did. You look at what Kenneth Walker did. You look at his line and then that Seahawks defense. Like Sam Darnold had a really great team around him. That being said, like he's definitely in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in the NFL because you can't go to the Super Bowl and win in the way that the Seahawks did without having talent. But am I willing to say that Sam Darnold is like a top 2 quarterback in the NFL right now? No.
Yeah, I think it's similar to how last year played out.
Just tell Hugh he's a dope.
Yeah, I mean that's all. It's just we all do that anyway.
I mean that's fine.
Yeah.
Devin can. That's fine.
Okay, we can't though.
No.
Okay, I get it. All right, Devin.
Would you rather have Sam Darnold or Jalen Hurts?
Right now, the winner of the Super Bowl. I'll take the winner of the Super Bowl.
You didn't want to say it out loud, did you?
What's that?
You didn't want to. I mean, she asked you a question, and you kind of
because
you used phrasing around saying
because
I
Sam
take Darnold over Hurts. You didn't say it.
Because Sam Darnold was the best quarterback this year.
It was not.
He was.
He was.
Why?
Who you consider the best quarterback then?
Well, Sam Darnold.
Stafford was the best quarterback.
And he was at the NFL honors, getting the honor.
Yep, on his couch.
He wasn't playing in the Super
Did not
Bowl.
win the Super Bowl.
Maybe McVay challenges that play. Anyway, all right, Devin, before we let you go, your reaction to what was said yesterday. Let's play it for everyone. Devin, you could react yesterday as the Phillies hold court before spring training. Here's Dave Dombrowski talking about Nick Castellanos and whatever the heck they're trying to do here.
Well, we continue to talk to clubs about that, and that's our focus prior to the start of spring training. So that's something that we'll continue to work on this week.
Is that something that you hope to have resolved this week?
Hopefully, yes.
Hey, Dave, just to clarify, if Nick is not traded or released by the time position players are scheduled to report, will he be in camp?
Well, at this point, we're doing everything we can to make a move by that time period. So I'll leave it at that right now.
Yeah, Devin, it feels like we're going down to the wire here, and I don't think they're going to find someone that will trade for Nick Castellanos. It feels like they played this thing a little bit wrong.
Not knowing if they talking like that, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. You have to look back at the way that they've handled this Nick Castellanos situation, and I agree with the idea that Nick Castellanos shouldn't be on the team because I think the relationship clearly, had soured. But putting it out there to, the whole world, especially the rest of the baseball world, I feel like even before the season ended for the Phillies, like, hey, this guy, he's not going to be on the team next year. Like, we're going to try to get rid of him. I don't know if that was the best strategy by them. And I think we're seeing that play out here because why would a team want to trade for a player like Nick Castellanos that the Phillies are basically saying, yeah, we'd rather eat the $20+ million on, final year of his contract and have this guy even be present at camp. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
It just isn't a very good marketing strategy, and it kind of is the cherry on top of a head scratcher of an offseason for Dave Dombrowski and the Phillies. Like, camp starts, pitchers and catchers report this week, full squad. They first report Sunday, Monday of next week. So you have a few days here if you're saying that you're going to try to figure this out. Maybe they have some handshake deal in place that they know about and we don't, but it just doesn't really make sense the way that this all played out, given how they didn't do themselves any favors. They actually kind of shot themselves in the foot to start the offseason with this Nick Castellanos situation.
They did. They completely mismanaged it, and it's a shame because now they probably just have to release him in the next day or two without getting anything back. Devan, we appreciate you hopping on. We will talk next week right as the Phillies ramp up and start spring training. Thank you, Devan.
Have a good one, Devan.